And I don't know if you boys have seen what he said today. Just, we've got to keep faith. We've got to keep faith. You know, he's basically saying that he doesn't have experienced players. He's been given young players. He's got to develop them, and it's hard. Does this sound, Mo, like just excuses from the manager, in your opinion?
I don't think he knows how to talk. Like, just as a, I'm sorry. Wallah al-Azim, you're laughing, but you don't Wallah, you're laughing.
By the way, me and Mo actually had this discussion 2 days
Wallahi,
ago.
you're laughing, but I don't think you understand my point here. And I keep saying this, and people don't understand this point. I worked in a big company, and I managed team out of like 30, 40, and at some time it was 50 people. I cannot be able to
look
talk.
At me, I'm a scientist.
Yeah, let me just get the point across. Yeah, let me get the point across. The problem is to be able to lead a team, right? Just at normal work, right? Is you have to be able to deliver a message, because you sit and you lecture and you do presentations. This manager, this guy leads staff, medical team, sometimes youth teams. He does lecture people every day. That is his job, to deliver a message. If this guy speaks in front of the media like this and says, I'm the second best successful manager in England, I am blah, blah, this guy doesn't know what to talk. If you are losing at home to Spurs 3-0 and you say tomorrow is a new day, what the F are you doing, bro? I think he's losing brain cells. And I'm just saying, how can someone, Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth and Wilcott and all these guys, how can you guys not see that this guy is an incompetent person just to lead? I don't know how he was at Ajax. This is not me, sorry, Terry. This is not me attacking the person. I don't know the guy personally, right? All I can analyze is what I see in front of me. It's, imagine a pianist that is very, very good, and then every time I listen to the guy, it hurts my ears and he peaks, right? This is Ten Hag. You cannot be a leader. You cannot be a manager if you cannot even talk. That is the number one thing you do to be a leader. You're a manager. Forget tactician or all of this. He failed as a tactician already. But you cannot be failing as a leader, as someone who can talk.
So interestingly, when you say this, I was laughing because of how you said it, but I actually agree. Benny McCarthy has spoken to The Athletic in the last few days, and a big part of what he spoke about is that he said tactically, Ten Hag is top. He said, but what he lacks is the ability to communicate his ideas to people, and therefore there is a disconnect on the football pitch. And that makes so much sense. That's why he's sitting there looking at his players going, what are you doing? But the players are also looking back and saying, I don't understand. I've had this thought for a long time. We all agree Pep's the best manager in the world right now.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
If a coach goes and works for him for 5 years, surely in that 5 years, you would learn to understand the drills they do in training. You would learn to understand how he views football. You would learn so much of what is about Pep Guardiola. But it doesn't mean you can replicate it elsewhere just because you've shadowed him, followed him, and learned from him. You can't just read Gordon Ramsay's cookbook and become a great chef. Even more importantly, you might be able to cook as good as Gordon Ramsay. Doesn't mean you can run a kitchen like him. Can you communicate what you've learned from that book to other people in a clear, concise, and effective way? And I think a lot of managers understand football. When you listen to Frank Lampard talk as a pundit, he talks a lot of sense, as in he can break down the tactics. But can he, in the heat of the moment, in a dressing room, make his players understand? Yep. And it might just be, you might be half an inch off. You might be half a yard off because the tactics are just not quite coming through. But at the highest level of any sport, those millimeters matter. They absolutely count. And I agree, there is a disconnect when it comes to his passion. I think he also has a problem with his people skills. I think he has a problem with managing relationships with individuals. And intelligence and IQ is an important part of life. But emotional intelligence, understanding people, developing relationships with them is so important. And I think they are two areas that Ten Hag hugely struggles in. And that's what someone goes, why was he good at Ajax? Well, maybe speaking in his native tongue helps him. Maybe when he speaks, and that's not to be disrespectful. I can't speak any other languages. It doesn't matter how good I am at communicating in English. If I tried doing it in French, if I tried doing it in Arabic, if I tried doing it in Spanish, no matter how good I have been as a leader in my life in English, I would fail in those other areas. And if I've got bad interpersonal skills on top of that, it's going to compound the matter. So I don't think you're onto I don't think what you're saying there, Mo, is crazy, warped in any way, shape, or form, I do think there is a disconnect there at multiple levels that also impact the way we play. I think they're all a fundamental problem at the club. I agree.
Yeah,
and that for me is the thing. Like, listen, this whole communication thing, I think, like, obviously I don't really take seriously everything that is being said in a press conference, because I feel like every manager has a level of delusion, or every manager has a level of like something that they're saying that they don't truly believe in the public. But the one thing that I will say that's I find weird is I feel like the stuff that he says in the press conferences versus the actual direction of the club don't match. Meaning, you just lost a game to 20 at home, drew a game, sorry, to 20 at home in the Europa League, and you're out here talking about we want to win the Champions League. I feel like there is a place and time to make announcements like that. There's like sometimes even the timing of his statements is nonsensical. Even like the whole statement of, you know, all eras come to an end and stuff like that. I didn't get triggered about it when he said it. My issue was like, you've just walked into this league. You don't call out the two big bosses the moment you step foot into the league, because it'll come back to bite you in the ass type thing. So yeah, that's
Well,
I
I think you
want
can
to ask
call
you a question, Terry. Since you are Ten Hag out, and since you do want Ten Hag gone, and this is here the question that we asked all the Chelsea fans last summer, and I'll put you on the spot instead of you asking us questions. Who do you want to replace Erik Ten Hag? Tell me.
Xavi Alonso.
Oh my God.
That's who I would like to come in. And I tell you, there's a few candidates I like. I actually spent a lot of time last night after the Champions League games. I maybe sat up for about 2 or 3 hours just reading about particular managers and how they play and what they do. And there is a short list going around. What I did as well, what I did was I read an article that came from the Muppeteers that kind of lists the 5 sort of managers that are reportedly currently on a short list. So I thought I'd research them rather than say Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp or something that isn't realistic. I looked at the names that are currently on a short list by Man United, and you've got Kieran McKenna, you've got Xabi Alonso, you've got Almiron, there is Sebastian Holness, and I forget his name now, the manager of Bournemouth is actually on the list. Areola, yeah. So they're on the list at the moment. And I went through and just researched. And it was really, I think it's always important to do this when they're linked to your club, is don't necessarily just read an article where it's about what they can do for Man United. Read about what they've done at their current club where there's no link to your club, link to you. And what I like about Xabi Alonso is everything I read about him, the same thing is being said, that he's got a very methodical style, but he will pick and choose when they try and be possession-based and the aggressor, and when they try and absorb and counter-attack. And what I like about that is I think that's what Man United need in the short term and in the long term. Someone that can play a dominant style of football, but also understands, because he has this situation with Bayer Leverkusen, is there are some teams that Bayer Leverkusen are going to play where we can't dominate the ball, where we can't be the aggressor. And Man United are in that situation. Ruben Almiron also kind of fits that bill a little bit as well, where there is some variation to how it is that he plays. So they're the two, Almiron and Alonso. Now, I know Alonso's very hard because he's at a club that's doing very well. There's obviously like Liverpool links and Madrid links, and Man United are not in a good place right now. But out of the names that we're credibly linked to in the mainstream media, those are my personal top 2 at the moment, based on what I sat down and read. The only thing about Almiron I'm not too sure about is that most of the reports I read about him is he kind of plays 3-4-3, and I don't quite know how that works with the squad that we have. But I like the way his football looks and the way it sounds and the way he utilizes people. But Alonso was the person I wanted in back end of last season, and I want him again now. I think he's one of the next great managers, or the potential to be. The man almost completed a treble last year, but he did an invincible double. Already started this season very well. So yeah, I would like Alonso.
Yeah, but you know that's what's gonna happen.
I wanna ask a question.
You asked me what I want. I'm just telling you what I want.
Okay, I wanna comment on it. Why do you think people will go to your club, Terry?
That wasn't the question though. What you asked me what I wanted.
No, I'm following up the question. Why do you think they will choose your club?
I don't think Alonso will.
Okay,
I'm just telling you what. But I'm telling you what I want. I'm telling you what I want.
Yeah, I agree. I wanna like doesn't matter. Like I want a Rolls Royce. It doesn't mean I have the money.
But do you know what? When I look at the other players, you're asking who I want.
I'm telling you. Can I go ahead?
But I'm allowed to say who I'm allowed to say who I want on the shortlist of Man United managers. In terms of to answer your question, of all the managers that are on there, if we look at the only one who I don't think is realistic out of all those 5 managers we're currently linked to is Alonso. And I don't even think that's because of Bayer Leverkusen. I think that's because he's got ideals of managing Liverpool or Real Madrid. And if he manages Liverpool, he never becomes the Man United manager. And forget where we are right now. If he manages Man United, he'll never become the Liverpool manager. And if it's a true desire of his to be at Liverpool, that may stop him. Even if we're really good, he might still say no for that reason, right? But out of all the other managers, Almiron would walk away from Sporting Lisbon to be our manager.
Yes.
Honus would leave Stuttgart to be our manager. Kieran McKenna's on the list. He would leave Ipswich. And don't tell me the Bournemouth manager wouldn't leave Bournemouth for Man United. So out of the 4 that we're linked to, 5 we're linked to, 4, I think if we made them the right financial offer, would join Man United. Alonso is my personal choice, who I would personally like, but I don't think we'll get it done. But I'd love a steer.
Can I ask you? You said something in the middle. You said, I don't know. Where are you as a football club? Where are you now? Where do you think you are? Because I heard Mark Goldbridge. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that, Laius and Mark Goldbridge said something to the Man United fan base. They literally both said the same sentence. Who do you think we are now? Who do you think we are? Can I ask you, who do you think you are now? As Man United. Who do you think
Mo going in?
They both asked that question.
Okay. But I need you to contextualize it for me. What was it? Why were they saying that?
Mark was responding to the
Cole Palmer thing. Cole Palmer. Yes.
And Laius was responding to the people that said we should be challenging for the title.
Okay, again, I agree with them. So again, let's slow down. So the idea that we're just going to take Cole Palmer away from Chelsea this summer is ridiculous. We're not there. Okay, we would need to be title challenging, I think, to take him away from them right now. Just the same, to be a title challenging team, it's going to take years. We're neither of those two things. So who do I think Man United are? I agree with Lies and Mark in that context, 100% in the here and now. But with a competent manager, the manager and head coach, and get our basics right, this is a squad that can, right now, in my opinion, can compete for the top 4 and has the ability to win the Europa League and the domestic trophies. That is where Man United's squad is right now and where we are as a football club. With a competent head coach, we could have made the top 4, probably hard now with the start we've had and the point difference already, but we could win trophies this season and we could progress up the league. It's going to take 2 or 3 more years of excellent summer transfer windows to even have a squad capable of challenging for the league, but that is where we are right now. I don't believe we're this broken club that can never be fixed. I don't believe we have this dross squad. I believe the squad's got to improve, but this squad should be challenging for the top 4, top 5, top 6, and it's capable of winning the 3 cup competition that it's in, but it needs a competent manager to, one, increase our consistency in the league and to be able to deliver these trophies at the same time. I think the squad can do it. It's won 2 trophies 2 years running. It isn't like we got worse in the summer. So, yeah, that's where we are right now.